Hi, everybody. Hi. Real estate.
Real estate.
It's like the wild, wild west out here right now. David and I are business partners. Together we own Northwest Hosting. Under Northwest Hosting, we have 5 different brands, and we're here specifically tonight to talk to you about short-term rentals. So we're going to get right into it because I have a feeling there's going to be a lot of questions. So here we go. So investment, short-term versus long-term. For those of you that have been in the long-term game, this is going to sound crazy, and it's going to really stretch you, but I need you to forget everything that you know. You've worked so long and so hard, and you've built this beautiful portfolio, and these young kids are coming in and telling you, oh my gosh, this is a new game, and this is what we're doing, and this is how fun it is. And they're right. Now, vacation rentals have been around for a long time. Forever. People have rented other people's homes. I myself grew up going to vacation rentals in a vacation community called Sun River in Oregon, outside of Bend. How many people have been to Sun River? Oh my gosh, it's wonderful. What really entered the market and came into the market and really changed the game was the original VRBO, or vacation rental by owner. And it was a one-to-one transaction. I owned a home, you wanted to stay in my home, it's nice to meet you, here are the keys. That's not how it works anymore. And that is a very active form of income. We're talking about the new game, which is investors investing in short-term rentals and it being passive income. And this is how the who, what, when, why, and where of how it works.
I should say real quick, vacation rentals is not a passive income stream normally.
No.
There's a lot of work that goes along with managing these properties.
We're the active part.
We're the ones that make it passive for you guys.
Right.
So Dave, why doesn't square footage matter? I'm glad you asked, Stacey.
Thank you.
So the one thing about short-term rentals is you got to realize the type of people that we're looking. Oh, I'm sorry, my account.
Wait a minute.
Okay. So the one thing about short-term rentals compared to long-term rentals is that you're not competing against another large property to get somebody in for a long-term rental. You're competing against, anybody guess? Hotels. What's the largest size of a hotel you spent at? If you get a 327 square foot hotel room with 2 beds.
That is killer.
That's killer, because you might have a couch, you might have one TV, and it's pretty small, pretty compact. If you get 2 bathrooms,
you've rented a suite at that point, and you're balling, so.
Heaven forbid there's a kitchen, or better yet, laundry. You do your own laundry?
Well, at a hotel, you're sharing it with other people, so that's cool.
Or you're paying the valet to do it for you. So the biggest thing about short-term rentals that's really unique to investors is that you're competing against properties that other long-term renters or rental investment people, they want the bigger house. They want the 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom, backyard. In short-term rentals, that doesn't matter.
Square footage does not matter in a short-term rental.
Yeah.
So throw the bigger is better out. And here's why. In a short-term rental, you have a completely different mindset when it comes to your asset. There's asset protection that is built in. It's cleaned regularly and maintained regularly. Maintenance issues are resolved immediately. No longer do you have a 4-page checklist that after 12 months, maybe 18 months, oh my gosh, they signed a 2-year lease, we're killing it. And then you get in and it's 4 pages of things that are wrong with your property. Every single time a guest leaves, you have a housekeeping team going in and turning that property. Maintenance issues are handled immediately, which means your home is not getting the wear and tear that it normally gets as a long-term rental.
Can I add something real quick?
Of course.
Okay.
Please
So
do.
with short-term rentals, you're actually in your property, or your management team is in your property 3, 4, 5, 6, 8 times a month, as long as you don't have a reservation in place. With that being said, your property is turned to show ready every single time we turn a reservation. So literally, you could have this property and it could be, you could be selling it too.
We've had our owners sell their home, right? They're like, oh, we made our money, we're out. And we're like, yeah, that's great. You've got reservations till December 31st. You can start showing it on the 26th. Because it is a turnkey business, it's already furnished, it's already set up.
It's already staged.
It's already staged. The homes are selling without having to pull in maintenance, without having to shut it down and get your tenant out, and we got to get our maintenance team in.
But you got to replace that leaky toilet.
Ugh.
You know?
I just replaced a leaky toilet 2.5 weeks ago.
Exactly.
It's wonderful.
Or the foosball table leg broke.
We're sending maintenance out tomorrow morning.
So we get reviewed so many times a year. Last year we got reviewed over 1,500 times. We had over 1,500 reservations. So our business is built on customer reviews and how well we maintain these properties. Because the worst thing you can have is a property that has deferred maintenance. You're going to get 1-star reviews. It's going to show up very quickly, and you are not going to book this property. The thing about us is that we're successful when you guys are successful, especially those two people right back there. You know, we loved your house.
Loved your house. Loved 935. So here's the other difference between a short-term rental versus a long-term rental. If you are in the long-term game, you are out there hunting down those neighborhood homes. You're hunting down, do I need to put new carpet in? What's the age of the kitchen? And the upsell really is those amenities. Did you paint the house? Did you update the trim? What's the backyard look like? Are the tenants going to upkeep that backyard? Ooh, what's that landscaping situation?
Yeah, not to mention all the people who are bidding on that house too against you.
Right, because it's in a neighborhood. In the short-term rental game, amenities are the upsell, right? Bed size, you have direct control of that. How big is the room? Are you putting a king-size bed in or a queen-size bed? What's the ROI on a king-size versus a queen-size? When you call me, I'm going to tell you king-size every time. Okay?
We actually, okay, I probably shouldn't have mentioned this, but
don't do it.
We stalk our competitors. And
big time.
I have a vast network. I love numbers. I have a vast network of a database, I should say, of all the different properties that are in our areas, what amenities they have, and how much they can actually charge because they have a certain amenity.
Right.
Where we've actually had a couple customers, clients of ours, say, well, we're thinking about putting a hot tub in our property. And we said, great idea. You can get XYZ for this property.
Here's how fast that hot tub's going to pay for itself.
Yeah, we can do that. But also you have the flexibility, you have the control, being a short-term rental manager, that you can block off your schedule. You can order that item, have it installed, and then since we're in control of it, we can charge more money for that nightly rental instantaneously.
Amenities are the upsell with a short-term rental. You have more control over that. You buy a 2-bedroom, 1-bath bungalow. It needs a little bit of fixing up. So you go in and fix it up. But what you really spend your money on is amenities, and you're going to make even more money on that property. You have more control based on what you're putting in that property.
Sorry, I should have silenced my phone. They always say that you need to do that.
Goodness.
Okay.
It's like you've never presented before. So our big question is heads in beds. How many can it sleep?
Comfortable heads in beds.
Oh, comfortable heads in beds. Yep. I have a couple mattress brands that I particularly love and that I always recommend to our owners. They're affordable, easy to replace. You can run down and purchase them, and they get great reviews. Heads in beds, how many can it sleep? You have a 2-bedroom, 1-bath bungalow. You throw it on, and it's a 2-bedroom house. How much are you really going to get for it on a long-term rental? I don't know. Is it the right neighborhood? Maybe if we're lucky, and it's a really hot time, we can get $1,500 a month for rent from it.
Quick question for our investor friends, long-term rental rates. How much is a good rate for square footage, price per square foot?
$130, $150.
$130, $150?
That's about right.
Who wants to argue with Sarah? $130.
Okay, I'm going
$150.
to keep that in
Do
the
I
back
hear
of my head
$2
for
a
just a
square
minute.
foot?
Let you
$2
guys
a
think
square
about it.
foot. Sarah wins. $130, $140.
Okay, cool. Keep on going.
Okay. So the other thing that matters is your relationship with your management team. A lot of you in here are investors. You know what the difference between active and passive real estate investing in. You know what that is. I don't have to explain it. Strong relationship with air hosting your management company matters. We are on the phone all the time. We really are. You can ask my owners. You're getting monthly statements from us. When anything's going on with the property, we're talking back and forth. That communication is clear. When you have long-term properties, it's a set it and forget it, right? The tenant's in. The only time the phone rings is when it's bad news. Am I wrong? Are any of your property managers calling you to tell you that the tenants are super happy and they love the upgrades that you made?
Stacey had the pleasure of having a phone call with White River.
With who?
White River.
Oh, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so we rented a house for a month for one of our clients, and our call to them was, would you like to accept a $45,000 reservation for 1 month?
I'm really good at what I do. I'm not going to lie.
These
Super
are the
good
type
at
of
it.
conversations that we have with people. And so, yeah, we'll have the conversation that we got a leaky toilet. We've got a team that will be able to go in there and fix it, so you guys don't have to worry about that. But that's the conversation we like to have.
Most of the conversations I have with owners are, hey, guests really love this. Hey, things are going really well. Hey, your monthly statement's coming out. You're going to see this and this on it. Just wanted to give you a heads up. Hey, I saw that you guys had some flowers delivered. That was super awesome. We went ahead and had maintenance plant them in the planters out front. Thanks so much for doing that. It's really kind. It's really awesome conversations. It's just a different mental game. And I really love what I do because I really love to make $45,000 phone calls.
Yeah.
It's super awesome.
It is.
Because that's what the short-term rental market can get.
It can get.
Can get the right house at the right time.
With the
for
right
the
people
right
managing
guest.
it.
With me.
Yes.
I have, we're super good at what we do. We have massive contacts from all over who call us first for these sorts of bookings and stuff like that. So it's a lot of fun.
We rented a house,
Which one?
Weeping Willow.
Oh, yeah.
We rented a house this year for the summertime, and we didn't even list it on any Airbnb VRBO. All we did was pick up our phone book, and we just called the people, send them emails, and say, we got this property, you want it? We booked the entire summer, well over $100,000 for this property in less than 3 months.
Short-term rental game is super fun.
But
It's super fun.
it's incredibly stressful too. I'm actually 27 years old.
Guys, he looks good, right? Like, he looks good.
Why is everybody laughing?
They're not concerned. You look so good, Dave.
Okay.
Don't worry about it. Navy blue's your color.
It can be very stressful. It can run you around. We've been doing this since 2017. I think we've got a pretty good system in place. We've got a great foundation. We're growing leaps and bounds. We have a place now. We're taking more control. We are hiring more employees. We got a system that works, and I'm pretty good. I love numbers, and so I track numbers like crazy. I'm the database guy. The benefit is Stacey. That is the best part of this entire business. I will say so myself. If it wasn't for her, I wouldn't be able to track the numbers I track.
Yeah.
So, side note.
Thank you.
I
That
just
was
wanted,
very nice.
I wanted to put that on record for everybody to be able to see it.
That's right. Send me that link. All right, you got it. Personal use, vacation at your own home. How many of you have ever visited your long-term rental and then managed to write it off successfully with a big smile on your face because you had such a good time? Did you love it?
Yep.
Did you love seeing the holes in the wall?
Nope.
And the doors ripped off, the hinges, and I thought I was gonna be able to go out to dinner at least one time, and it's takeout all week to take care of your property. Personal use, vacation at your own home. And while you are vacationing at your own home, you need to make sure that you call us for at least 5 minutes so you can write that whole trip off while you are enjoying yourself. Because because that's what my tax accountant tells us to tell you guys.
Although we are not tax
5-minute phone
professionals,
call.
we cannot legally say this.
No, but
Okay.
that's what she tells me.
We have a couple people in the place that we can tell you everything you
5
need to
minutes.
do. So is that right? Okay, just want to make sure.
I don't lie.
Okay.
Summer said so.
Yep.
Drive by and wave or cry.
Yeah.
Cry. Guests are vetted multiple ways under short-term rentals and have been reviewed by other hosts. So you have peer-to-peer vetting. You have validation that
That's
these people are good, honest people,
just
and they're
the start of
coming
it.
in. And also, if you have a really great property management,
Can't tell them all the cool stuff that we do.
I was just going to tell them that we know our guests.
We stalk people like crazy.
It's so fun.
We want to make sure that you guys get the right people in your house because we want to be your partner and we want to make sure
Just
that
in
we're...
case the CIA is hiring. Stalkers.
So that's one of the things that we do. We want to make sure that you guys have the right guest in the house that's going to pay the right amount of money.
How many of you enjoy that credit check and employment verification? So, when you're calling their cousin. And they for sure are making $7,500 a month.
Yeah.
For sure can afford this at 24 years old.
Yep.
The vetting's just different. Like I said, you have to throw everything out that you know about being a landlord or a long-term rental investor. The short-term game is completely different. The owner has more control.
You control your schedule. You control your calendar. We can work together. You can control the prices.
You can control your amenities and the upsell.
You can control when people come in. You can control when you want to get work done. You can control everything.
Tenant has more control over a long term. How many people have ever been through an eviction? It's,
Oh, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
it's brutal.
Yes.
That isn't an issue with short-term rentals.
Thanks to the state of Idaho.
And also, me.
Yes.
Do you guys do like rental arbitrage or just management on behalf of the property owners?
We manage on behalf of the property owners.
We're not into rental arbitrage right now.
No.
We haven't broken into that market yet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I know exactly what you're talking about, and I'd love to talk to you more about that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So, why convert a long-term rental into a short-term rental? Or better yet, how? How? The who, what, when, why, where, right?
So I want to go back to the $1.30 to $1.50 per price per square foot people are getting for rent. Is that still
Anybody?
And
$1.50.
$1.50?
Somebody has a 1,500 square foot home and they're getting $2,000 a month right now.
$1.36.
$2,000 a month? Should be at least that. Okay, so is somebody in this room actually getting $2,000 a month on a 1,500 square foot home?
2,600.
Yes, that's my girl. Of course you are, girl. Of course you are.
Nick Beveridge made a bet with me if anybody wants to just go by. It's a 5-bedroom, 2-bath house in Post Falls, 1,456 square feet, and I said I'm going to rent it for $2,400, and if I want, I got to slap him in the face, and I just rented it for $2,500.
Yay!
The kitchen, quartz counter is really nice.
A 5-bedroom house.
No, I didn't.
What if I could tell you that our record is $27 a square foot?
That feels so good.
$27 a square foot.
Is that annualized or?
Square footage doesn't matter because
Well,
it's heads and beds.
that was for our peak month.
It was our peak month. Yeah, it was our
So
peak month.
it was
We could
well over
average that out,
$15.
and we could talk about it really.
What's
well,
that?
yeah, we should average it out.
It was well over $15. It's a beautiful. It was
Are you
a
talking about
unicorn.
Eagles? Are you talking about Eagles?
Yeah,
Nest?
Eagles
Yeah.
Nest.
It was a unicorn, and then it sold because they had purchased it a couple years prior. It was a family home. It was a family home conversion to a short-term rental. They purchased it in 16. They had it for 4 years. They sold it in 20, and they doubled their money, and they sold it as a turnkey business.
Yeah.
So they sold it with everything. So when we say turnkey, we mean that all the furniture was purchased, all the amenities, everything like that. So by converting to a short-term rental, we've said you have more control over your investment. You have more control where your dollars are going. Accessibility, multiple times a month, somebody's in there Maintenance issues are significantly lower. You're worse on
We're
top of that thing.
Addressed constantly.
Yep. Flexibility, you can change your rates on a daily basis. You can take advantage of seasonality. Need to renovate something, take a month off without feeling like you're displacing tenants. And then if you're really making some big upgrades, your nightly rate might be increased. Profitability, the net. This is super fun, and this is David's story.
Okay, so 1515. I love this house. 1515 we took as our 1,500 square foot house. It was renting long term for $2,000 a month, and we're getting pretty regular people to be able to come in and be able to rent it.
For a year at a time.
For a year at a time. We had a lot of luck with good people being able to rent it. We turned that house into a vacation rental because I know some people. We were able to do it very economically, and we chose the right items to purchase, and we avoided the ones not to purchase. The first month we turned that was May of last year.
2020.
May of last year.
2021.
2021.
Is it still 2022?
It is. Our first month we did $1,800. Our second month we did $10,900. Our third month we did $14,000. Our next month we did $10,000, and the month after that we did $7,500.
Brand new to market.
My own rental house that I turned into a vacation rental. We did so well in that we decided to pull the trigger on our remodel of our house, and so we actually closed it down from a vacation rental. We're able to do that, and we're able to move people to different locations because of our book of business. That was really easy. And I have been living in my house with my beautiful wife, my 2 teenage kids, and my 3 dogs for the last 6 months, as my wife keeps on adding things onto our remodel list that we're doing that we'll finally be able to
It's
move
shocking.
into here pretty soon. But it gave me the flexibility to be able to do that.
So the great thing about this case study is, in the back of your mind, how many of you thought, yeah, well, you probably put your house up as Gold Star first, or you let people rent that house first? David and I were adamant about letting that house fly all on its own. We wanted to see just what it would do. We didn't do anything special.
Well, we can't push one property to have another property
That's-
and another platform.
Yeah.
So like on Airbnb or VRBO, we can't push one of our properties to have another one. So it's the customers get to decide what they want to do.
Yeah, the
We're
market,
just-
the market chooses.
Yeah. So that's where the marketing aspect comes into, the photography, the amenities, and how you be able to describe the property that really comes through.
Yeah.
And we got 17 reviews in a very short period of time, 5-star reviews, and it
great.
was just off of the races from there.
Yeah.
I just accepted an $832 a night reservation for 4 nights coming up here in June. So,
I know.
Where's it located? How big is it?
1,537 square feet, 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom. Don't underestimate the power of a second bathroom, by the way. In Hayden. It's got a nice little pocket view of Hayden Lake, but it's not like super big.
Is it the Ironman weekend or?
No, it's
No,
the
it's
week
not even
before
Ironman
Ironman.
weekend. It's weekend before.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, and the last one is who manages matters. Who manages your short-term rental matters. I don't care if you're buying a short-term rental here. I don't care if you're buying a short-term rental across the country. Who just closed on one in Florida? The Florida? Yeah. So who manages your property matters. All right. So for those of you that are looking to buy, so that was a conversion, right? I have a house, I've got tenants in it, maybe I could make some more money. I'm gonna call David and Stacey, I'm gonna see what I can do. For those of you that have an eye for a new purchase, here is what to look for in a new buy. The very first thing I need you to do is, if it is in a neighborhood and it has HOAs or CC&Rs, you need to have them pulled.
I'm going to say the first thing you need to do is call Stacey.
Well, yeah, probably.
And then the second thing we need to do is we'll start checking these items.
Let me make something perfectly clear. I am not a real estate agent.
Either am I.
We're really good at the short-term rental game, and we work really closely with real estate agents here in town to help them be really good at what they do when they're talking about the short-term rental game.
I will say real quickly, you guys are very fortunate to be in the Keller Williams house.
So
because
awesome.
we work with a lot of realtors, and
Yeah.
these folks know exactly what they're doing.
Yeah.
They can communicate these things. They do a lot of these things automatically for you guys.
Yeah.
So you guys chose a great room to start learning about real estate investing.
Anytime a Keller Williams agent calls, I already know it's already dialed in. HOA and CCs and Rs, this is a must. There are neighborhoods and pockets of neighborhoods that do not allow for short-term rentals. Does anybody know what the ordinance is? What makes a home a short-term rental versus a long-term rental? Nope.
30 days.
Nope.
1 week,
Nope.
6 months.
It was 29 days.
Yes, that's my girl. You and I just talked about it last week. 29 days. It's very specific. And the HOA ordinances, CCNRs, will have it in there. 29 days. Nothing shorter than 29 days. Nothing shorter than 90 days. Nothing shorter than 180. At that point, that home is not eligible as a short-term rental. So, there you go.
Do your due diligence
Do your due
before you purchase.
I had a very sad phone call a couple months ago. Oh, I feel so sorry. I feel so sad. This very lovely woman calls me and she goes, hey, I don't know if you remember, but you sent my real estate agent some documents a couple months ago. Anyway, I'm all done. My home is ready. We've been working on it for months and I want you to come down and check it out and make sure it looks perfect. And I was like, awesome. I'm so excited. Hey, what's that address? I don't think I have it on file.
That agent doesn't work for Keller Williams, by the way.
P.S.
I will notice that.
It's a house that's in an HOA neighborhood that doesn't allow for short-term rentals. And I said, I am so sorry. That short-term rentals aren't allowed in that neighborhood. She goes, oh, yeah, they are. My real estate agent knew I was buying a short-term rental for a vacation rental. I specifically said it many, many times. And I was like, I am so sorry. That house is not eligible.
One of the things that we do is that since we have that vast array of the database, we're able to tell a lot of potential property owners what a house can do or what they might be able to expect as a rental. And so people will shoot us information all the time and we can just give them top line information just to kind of give you a ballpark.
Ballpark.
And so that way people can make informed decisions financially.
Yeah.
It's up to your real estate agent to be able to make sure that they do their own due diligence. We can help, but if we're not asked to help in that specific market for that specific neighborhood,
It was a really
we're busy.
sad conversation, and it was so sad. It makes me say that the number one thing you should do is if it's in an HOA or CCNR neighborhood, you have to get a title report. So the second thing is knowing your city ordinance. I love the city. Love the city of Coeur d'Alene. I am down there in the clerk's office as much as I can be because I love my city people. Because I get permits done in 2 weeks and I will sit out in the parking lot and wait for Jerome to get off of lunch. Hey, I got a house.
Yep.
Get back in your car. Let's go right now. What is the city code? In the city of Coeur d'Alene, you may, per parcel, only have one short-term rental. So if you buy a house in Sanders Beach and it has a cute little house up front and a wonderfully redone ADU in the back, only one of them may be a short-term rental. You can put a long-term renter in the other house. So you cannot short-term rental both of them. You can only short-term rental one of them.
And you might be surprised which one's a better value for you to short term.
Yep. So, a multiple dwelling home in the city of Coeur d'Alene, how many can be a short-term rental on one parcel? What are you going to do with the other one? No, you're not. You are going to still furnish it, and then we are going...
You can't tell them everything.
There are other avenues besides short-term renting that we have plugged that gap.
Yes.
And the city has approved it.
And we have a vast network of people that we can call to and fill places pretty quickly.
So location, location, location. That is what really matters with a short-term rental. You may think Sanders Beach is where it's at. I have to have something waterfront. If it's not a Riverstone condo, I don't want to hear about it. But that's not necessarily the case. We have a really great example in Hayden. We have some amazing opportunity with some of our local amusement parks that houses just book up for the summer as families are coming to do all of the outdoor recreation that North Idaho has to offer. So don't discount Hayden as a great location for a short-term rental, and we can help you with that.
Does Hayden allow the one for parcel 2?
Hayden doesn't have anything. They're city,
Wild West.
they're too busy
We're
fighting.
working with the city
They're
of
too busy
Hayden when they've come to us and asking about which regulations they should be able to do. So we've
Yeah.
been talking with Hayden about what they need to do,
Yeah.
in our opinion, and they'll go from there. But as of presently, it is the Wild Wild West.
It is the wild, wild west.
Yeah.
Yes, Mark.
So if there's no HOA or CCR, let's say it's a single family residence, and you want to leave for 2 months during the winter, does everything apply, and you want to short-term rent your own home?
Yes, it still applies. You need to get a short-term rental permit. When in doubt, get a permit.
When in doubt, call Stacey.
Yeah. So due diligence involving us in the pre-purchase is key. We have a lot to offer when it comes to market analysis and what your home could possibly do. Okay, are you guys ready? David, are you ready?
I don't even know what's coming next. I'm nervous. Oh, Q&A. Cool.
Okay.
I'm ready.
What question do you have?
Do you do this outside of the area?
We have some regional pockets that we are interested in.
We're coming to Spokane!
I'm very excited. Air Spokane. Yep, that's Sarah.
And
Wait a second, she had a real question.
Sandpoint.
In the Berkshires in Massachusetts?
No, but we can look up some business partners over there that would be very successful for you. Do we just go right around, or do we want to raise hands? Yes.
Did you go north in Bonner, Boundary County?
Yes.
Okay. Did I miss what you charge?
It depends on a lot of things.
Yeah.
Oh gosh.
Let's talk and have a conversation, and we'll tailor make something just for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm back there.
Yes. Gosh. Oh, this is going to be awesome. Boop. Yes, sir.
What's your optimum length of stay, and how do you compete with 1 or 2 night rentals so you're directly competing with hotels?
That's a good question.
Oh
When
my
it
gosh,
says
I
the
love that.
Optimum night stay is, it's dependent upon the strategy that we've developed. Are we looking for occupancy? Are we looking for highest dollar amount that we're going to get? So there are a lot of factors that come into play with that. I can tell you what our average is right now. I mean, we're about, I think it's 4.2 average nightly stay. I can tell you what the booking days are, the lead time, all that sort of information. We have, is anybody familiar with airplane prices? You know how airplane prices go up and down? So do our rental rates.
Yeah. So
We have demand-based pricing that allows us to be able to do that. So we stock all of our competitors. I know what everybody's doing. Like,
yeah.
we'll come up with a comp set to try to answer your question.
We market each properly very specifically.
Yeah.
So there are some houses that do best with a 3-night stay or a 4-night stay. They're in an area that needs to be cleaned up. They're a little bit rustic. Or you have really nice brand new builds that have big paved cement driveways with nice flag lots, and you want families there for a solid week because you know that home can handle it.
And they want 10 days, so they book 2 weeks.
So awesome.
So yeah, there's a lot of strategy that's involved with that. So we do comp sets real quick
Yeah.
for each one of our properties. So we'll identify 20, 30 properties that are in a very select area of that house, and we'll handpick which ones they do, and I stock them every single day. I know exactly when they book, when they don't book, how much they're charging, what their amenities are, and I can place our properties according to those and what our strategy is daily, hourly. We're very nimble.
How many units do you guys manage, and how big is your team?
Okay, up until like 3 weeks ago, Stacey and I did all of this ourselves at our kitchen tables. Stacy's my business partner, by the way.
Hi,
She's best friends with my wife.
Lindsay,
FYI.
who's the greatest person on the planet for dealing with the two of us.
Yeah, she is.
She really is.
is.
She's key to our success.
She is key to our success.
Yeah.
The important thing for Stacey and I is to make sure that we had a foundation that we can build upon, because there's nothing worse than growing and crumbling.
Yep.
And so for the last, since 2017, been building this, our portfolio, our book of business, and we haven't gone out there to grab more business because we weren't ready to grow. We weren't ready to get these 5-star reviews. We weren't ready to be able to maximize these prices. We didn't know what that optimum strategy was to get the most money for that property. We've got a really good idea now. And so because of that, we have quadrupled in size for employees. We've got office managers, we've got QA assistants, we've got runners.
So we manage currently 45 properties. I have 10 coming on board probably in the next 2 weeks. We have 7 housekeeping teams. We have a full maintenance team. We have
We've got HVAC guys.
We've got HVAC guys. We've got
vast network of people.
Electricians, plumbers. We pay on time.
Quickly.
Every time.
So people pick up our call.
Yeah. We really love what we do, and we slow rolled it because we wanted to be very good at what we do. I had the opportunity a couple years ago to go to a really amazing conference, and one of the biggest things that people stood up and said is that if you are not doing what is right for your owners and your guests and your homes, you will crash and burn, because you're just, the review process is really significant with having short-term rentals. But I think one thing that really made David and I go, oh my gosh, was when COVID hit, and there are specific states that completely shut down short-term rentals. And we watched some of the biggest players in the game go bankrupt. David and I were like, whoa, we don't want that. We don't want to be that company. So we took a step back. We looked at our portfolio. We looked at what we needed to do to shore that up. And then we moved forward appropriately and conservatively in order to make sure that that if a pandemic comes again, that we are prepared for it, and we are not that company that goes under, because that was really hard to see. It was really hard to see.
We're not afraid to say no. We realize sometimes that we're not in it to get as many properties as we possibly can. We've actually, I hate to say it, we let several owners go this last year because it wasn't a good fit for both of us. We need to make sure that we have a working relationship and that we're business partners. And we want to make sure that we're going to be doing the best for you guys that we possibly can. And you guys trust us. And that if you call us, I'm going to pick up the phone.
I haven't even...
You did every single time. It wasn't that was on a text too. I mean, all
Yeah.
But there
Well,
are some people who are not a good fit for us.
Yeah.
We find those people who are maybe had a couple of cocktails at 10:30 at nighttime and are starting to fly off the handle. And we're professionals. I mean, Stacey's got 3 kids. I've got 2 boys. You know, we're family people. We do what we do. We work a tremendous amount. I mean, we shouldn't be working past 10 o'clock. We probably are up working. But there's just a time in the right place and the right communication that we need to have with people.
If you have 1 short-term rental, you might as well have 40. Because your phone is ringing off the hook, you're answering guest questions and stuff like that. And that's one of the things that we built our business on was, we can take care of this, we can manage this process, we can take care of this for owners. And that's what we built our business on. So we put all the people in place that take care of that, which is relatively new to the short-term rental market, is management. Yes?
You mentioned mattress brand matters.
Yes.
What mattress brand do you recommend?
Ooh. You're gonna have to.
You can't tell me that secret.
You're gonna have to buy me a coffee for that.
We can't give away all the trade secrets.
He's gonna be like, I could tell you, but I'd have to kill you.
Yeah.
Find them, keep your secret.
Sarah,
What amenities do you recommend and like furnishings and that kind of stuff outside of the mattresses for furnishing?
So I'll jump in real quick with
Yeah.
this one. Many times, Stacey had mentioned a little bit earlier when it came to heads and beds. You want to increase your occupancy. You want to be able to cater to as many people as you want to. But you can't do that with cramming everything into a house. I've been at a vacation rental where they said, oh, easily sleep 6 people or 8 people. And you go in and there's 3 bunk beds in the living room and it's a studio apartment.
we don't do that.
It's not spacious. No.
We don't do that.
Okay, like I said, I think I mentioned earlier, we were reviewed 1,500 times last year alone. You know, we're going to be on track for over 2,500 reservations this year. And so with that being said, we need to paint an accurate picture of what this property is like. And we want to make it comfortable because we have an opportunity to make a difference in the people who come and visit us. Like I remember going to Camp Arago on the Oregon coast when I was 7 years old with my grandfather, and I learned how to go crabbing for the first time. That was a vacation, that was a memory that I had. I will never forget that. Stacey and I are in the business to be able to deliver this for people. So when it comes to what amenities, it's nice quality type of things. They're not just jam-packed into a space. You want people to be comfortable. You want families to be able to have memories that will last for their lifetimes too.
There's a difference between furnishing your home or decorating your home from Vintage Market and Goodwill.
Yes. You can't do this on the cheap. You got to be able to spend some money.
And I can tell the difference.
You can.
And I will tell you.
Yeah, Stacey will tell you. She definitely will.
I am very charming,
Yes.
but also very serious.
We're taking everybody's time here.
Mark.
So this, you guys may or may not do this, but is there a market for if you've got rooms in your house that like, it's a totally separate floor, self-contained, full bath, bedrooms, laundry, all that stuff? Is there a market for that? If
Yep.
It's like, so you're still living in there, but you've got these extra rooms you can do.
Yeah, that's the OG Airbnb.
Yeah, that's the private room for rent.
That's a private
type
room
of
for
thing.
rent.
So
Yeah.
there are ways that you can do that if it's got its own separate entry and if its own space, living space. If there's
Yeah.
any shared space,
You have to disclose it.
you have to disclose it. And the
Yeah.
rental rates aren't quite as good with those properties. And so some of our properties have actually dedicated a separate entryway and a separate space just for their backyard so they can say that it's separate.
Yeah.
They share a wall, but that's it.
Yeah.
So duplexes, triplexes, multiplexes work very well too.
Yeah, we do have some duplexes.
When do I get paid? You guys do like a monthly statement? Or
We do monthly statements,
Yep.
and so we do. It's a couple days. We allow for 10 days after the month to be able to process the payment, because well, with Airbnb is the merchant of record. Do you guys know what merchant of record is?
Yeah.
Okay, so Airbnb collects the money, and so they'll wait for the guests to come and stay, and now wait the 72 hours for them to complain.
Yeah.
And then they'll release the funds at a later date.
Yep.
So reservations that end in a month, we'll have to wait a couple days for them to clear the account, and then we clear the books, and then we pay everybody off.
Yeah. So you get paid once a month. What other questions do you guys have? Yes.
If I have a rental, a property that I could rent as a short-term or long-term, do you provide a discussion about what the potential as a short-term rental is?
Yeah.
We only do short-term rental properties.
So we can help
I
you.
can figure out the long-term.
Right.
Okay, I was going to say, we do not do long-term property
We do
rentals.
projected revenues.
Yeah.
We do market analysis. We can help you assess your ROI.
Okay,
What the
so
potential could be.
What tools do you use to determine the?
That's for us to know. I can't tell our secrets.
It's expensive.
We invest a lot of money.
Yeah.
Our biggest asset is our own personal database of the last 5 years in being able to rent these properties. We also have a couple other items and places that we go to.
We
that
don't
we're able to
charge you
gather
for it.
information.
If you want to get on your phone and shoot me addresses, like shoot me like addresses, I look them up, I throw them into the system, and I can shoot you a ballpark. We don't charge our realtors or our owners or anything for an analysis of their home. So we could. There's other markets there's other property management companies that certainly do, but we find it's in our best interest to start working with owners on that level of trust of, hey, you've got this home. I know you're doing an ROI analysis of it. Let's talk about the short-term rental game.
Yeah.
I believe the city of Sandpoint is 30 days or more. So would you not take on a rental in Sandpoint on Airbnb if it was 30 days at a time?
We would look into it.
If you don't live there, you have to have it 30 days or more.
So Sandpoint is
Sandpoint's
a cautionary tale, man.
Well,
Sandpoint freaks me out.
If it's your primary residence, and if you do it 30 days or more, you can Airbnb it all day long. Well,
I know. Let's just keep it down so the city of Coeur d'Alene doesn't hear you.
I'm just wondering if you take on that kind of business.
So Sandpoint, for those of you that don't know, passed a city ordinance in November that put a moratorium on short-term rentals in residential neighborhoods. Now, the whole city.
Yeah.
If it is a mixed-use property, it can be a short-term rental. If it's in Ponderay, if it's up on Schweitzer, if it's in Sagal, it can be a short-term rental. There were 46 that had properly permitted themselves. 46. So I get super fired up about it just because I believe in the market. Let the market dictate what's going on. They put a moratorium on it. They have now created a waiting list. So if you own one of those short-term rentals, you might be if you're my brain, I'm like, oh my gosh, I have an incredible asset on my hands. It's a turnkey business. You're wrong. So when you sell your home, whoever buys it the permit doesn't follow the home and it doesn't follow the owner. It disappears into outer space, into angry outer space. And then the next person on the waiting list gets their opportunity to have a short-term rental permit, but they already have to own the home.
Yep.
I called the clerk in Sandpoint and just said, hey, can I chat with you, sis? Just let me ask a couple questions. She's like, sure, what do you need? I was like, I'd like to talk to you about the short-term rental situation that you've got going on. She's like, no problem. We're moratoriumed at 46. I've got 6 on the waiting list right now. Our expected move time is 5 to 10 years. And I was like, okay, thank you for your time. That's all I know from the city clerk at the city of Sandpoint. I've read the ordinance myself. We were actually at a national conference in November, and it was a point of conversation on a national scale what small towns are doing to the short-term rental market. Here's the deal.
Lincoln City.
Lincoln City. Oregon is another huge one. They also passed an ordinance that shut down all short-term rentals, period. No permitting, no moratorium. You've got 5 years to sell or close it. You've got 5 years to sell or turn it into a family rental only, period. End of story. And many, many, many business owners were begging, crying, pleading. I've got a pizza parlor. It's put my kids through college. I've got grocery stores. Everything in Lincoln City is just like Coeur d'Alene. It's locally owned. And those businesses are shutting down.
Luckily, we're in the state of Idaho, which is very pro-business, pro-tourism. And the likelihood of that happening is very small.
The city recognizes the value of short-term rentals.
And we're also actively working with the city too. Stacey worked with a couple of city council members about the
sustainability. It's kind of a 4-letter word.
Yes.
Out of your 45 rentals, what's that average occupancy rate over a year?
Depends on the size and the location. So our luxury homes, our big luxury homes that go for a couple $1,000s a night that are waterfront, they really don't get a lot of winter bookings because
we shut them down during the wintertime.
We shut them down during the wintertime. They're hard to get to. Those roads are expensive to maintain. And big families of 16 people, in the winter, they're not doing big winter family vacations. They're coming here in the summer. So you might look at one of our luxury homes and be like, you're only renting it out 4 months out of the year? That's a terrible occupancy rate.
But you get $170,000.
But you're making $170,000 a year on it a year.
It's gonna work.
And then you have a cute little 2-bedroom, 1-bath bungalow that's on 2nd and Foster or you have anything that's in the Sanders Beach. You've got you've got Midtown, you've got the Garden District, you've got all of these great little pocket neighborhoods.
Those are in this high 70s, low 80s.
High 70s, low 80s.
For the year.
All year, every weekend. People are coming in on Fridays, leaving on Mondays.
Yep.
Coming in on Thursdays, leaving on Sundays.
So you said high 70s, low 80s as
Yeah.
far as income?
No,
as far as occupancy rate.
Occupancy, yeah.
Double checking.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
The other end of the spectrum from Sandpoint, nationally news-wise, is Ohio. The state has legislation in process prohibiting all cities and municipalities from doing anything to restrict or prohibit short-term rentals.
And say that, you can say that louder down in Boise.
Yeah.
Real loud. Real loud, right at the Capitol building.
Idaho is a pro-business, pro-landlord state.
Yeah.
And it's a really good place to be able to do vacation rentals.
The mayor has multiple times in the last month in public speaking events talked about the positivity of short-term rentals and how, hey, we only have 240 permitted. We know there's over 700 online.
668
this afternoon. And
101 one bedrooms, 170 two bedrooms, 143 bedrooms, and I can go on from there.
Every day. Every day.
I'm kind of a nerd when it comes to that.
Numbers are great.
So it's a situation where the city knows they just want to start getting everybody doing what is right.
There are a lot of people who are kind of doing it on their own and kind of bringing it down for a lot of professional people to do it.
My favorite conversation to get into is when somebody really hates short-term rentals. I don't want to live next to a party. I don't want to live next to neighbors I don't know. And my question is, oh my gosh, are you best friends with your neighbors right now? All of them? Every single one of them? Is anybody in this room best friends with all their neighbors and you know them personally? Oh, that's nice.
First time though, first neighborhood ever.
First neighborhood ever, that's wonderful. Sarah?
I had a quick one.
Yeah.
I was fixing up the south of the house. The next door neighbor comes over, he's like, oh, this is great. Now when my in-laws come to town, they can stay at your house.
The greatest compliment I get is because every year, previously every year I've gone out, oh, sorry.
No. Go ahead.
He has a question?
Yeah.
I go out and introduce myself to the neighbors and I give them my personal cell phone. We're interested in family stays here in Coeur d'Alene. I've got kids. They're in the Coeur d'Alene School District. David has kids. They're in the Coeur d'Alene School District.
Mm-hmm.
I want my kids to still be able to ride their bike down the street safely. I want my kids to be able to go to the park and for me not to worry about nefarious activity. And part of that is creating really great neighborhoods and good people coming to good neighborhoods. And how we do that is marketing appropriately. So anytime I talk to somebody and they're like, I have a huge party house down the street from me, I give them the directionality to be able to contact who owns that home so that they know it's being mismanaged.
Yeah. We vet guests like crazy.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
When, where, how do we get involved in those conversations and support that market?
Are you talking about the city of Coeur d'Alene? Yep. So whatever district you live in, feel free to send your city commissioner an email and say, hey, I live in your district. I just want to say I heart emoji short-term rentals and they're super awesome. And then like maybe a rainbow and then like some smiley, like not the sunshine, but the one that has the smile on it.
And if you could do like a real cool like cake type thing
if you could make a video
that'd be awesome.
and like really blow it up brightly. No, the city really supports what we do. We don't see anything nefarious or weird happening with short-term rentals or permits here in town.
And if they do, we jump into action because we've got a team dedicated just to do that.
Yeah, we're gonna be just fine. And I think that one of the great things about short-term rentals in the Coeur d'Alene market or in any vacation market, I heard Kellogg, I heard Sandpoint, I've heard Florida, I've heard all of these great areas that people are coming to visit, is that people are coming to visit to have a good time, to spend some time in your home and tell their friends and family at home, and then more people are coming back. At this point this year, we are already seeing more reservations on the books than we did at this time last year. And for those of you that aren't super aware of what the rest of the country was happening at this time last year, they were dying to go to any place other than where they lived. And Coeur d'Alene was on the radar, and it has not stopped.
Yep.
We just had another top 10 valuation of places to go to take your kids. Like if you Google Coeur d'Alene, it is like Wall Street Journal, New York Times, Travel and Leisure. It's all of these amazing articles highlighting how friendly we are and our great outdoors and how amazing it is to come here and walk down the street and people say hi and people wave and you can
They
go to
know that they live here.
Yeah, you can go to the local bar, but here's the deal. Visitors come here and their minds are blown.
Yeah. It's very
And
true.
they love it.
And for our real estate friends, people who actually have real estate licenses,
Yeah.
if any of your properties that you guys have, if you want to market to your guests to come in with your property information, your contact information, let us know. Like I said, we are not real estate agents.
Yep.
We like to work in our wheelhouse. Our wheelhouse is short-term rentals.
Yep.
So you can market to your property or to your people.
Yep.
I think the number 2 question asked last year was, do you know a real estate agent I can talk to?
Yep, sure
So
do.
it's a great opportunity for
Here's
you
the
to
real
do
estate
so.
agent for that property. So, yep.
Are most of the short-term rentals investment properties, or do people rent out their primary residence?
A lot are investment properties.
A lot of them are investment
I would
properties.
say a good portion of our owners are out of state.
We have, yeah, they're out of state. So it's very passive for them.
Or out of country.
Or
in
out of
some
country,
cases.
also out of country. Yeah. Yes.
Maybe I missed it, but can you do this 12 months out of the year confidently?
Yes. Was that confident enough for you?
Yes!
1 bedroom, 1 bath, or a 2 bedroom,
Yes.
1 bath at Sanders Beach. Is that
Yep.
the perfect size?
Oh, yes. Do you have one? What's the address? Do you know what it is? Where is it? Is it
Do you know who
furnished?
owns it?
Knowing this, I'm kind of ready to turn it down because it was on a seller finance deal. It was free and clear.
Okay, great.
And
Who owns
I
it?
couldn't crunch the numbers on it.
Okay.
It would not produce for a long-term rental. And Airbnb,
Right.
I know is seasonal.
No, it's not.
It is, but we know how to not
Yeah,
make it be.
but where on Sanders Beach?
Well, let me tell you this first. He wanted $800,000 for this house.
I don't
Oh,
care.
jeez.
Maybe they want to have been so bad doing this. I just started.
How big was the lot?
It would be a great return.
How big was that lot?
$800,000?
Was it a smaller lot? Those bigger lots, don't be scared of a big lot in, don't be scared of a big lot. Don't be scared of a big lot in Sanders Beach, especially if there's room for an ADU on the back. Because you can build something. One of our owners called and said, I need you to get down here right now. 15th and Young, girl, get down here. And I was like, okay, here we go. The house needed a lot of work, but that's not what we were looking at. We were looking at the double lot. And she was like, how do I subdivide this? What do you think I can do? And I was like, oh, you're not going to get this subdivided. That's adorable. But what you're going to do is you're going to build this size of house right here. Here's where it's going to be. Here's where your driveway is going to be. Here's how they're going to pull in. And this is what we're going to do with this house. And this is what we're going to do with this house. And the numbers absolutely made sense. So you have those bigger lots. Like I said, we're following the city code. We are absolutely following the city code. But we do what we do, and we're very good at what we do, and we have lots and lots of creative ways to implement and still stay within city code and help owners and investors make more money. So what you might see as, gosh, this house is really run down, you involved David and I were like, oh no, we can do this, we can do that, we can do this. What about this scary basement? Nobody's going to go down here. Right, we're going to put a lock on that door. Nobody's going to go down there. It's going to be just fine.
We'll turn it into an owner's closet and we'll go from there.
Yeah. What about this garage? It looks like a tear down. Yep, go ahead and tear that down. But then it doesn't have a garage.
We've seen
Nobody
a lot.
cares.
Yeah.
No, short term, they don't care. What other questions do you guys have? Yes?
Do you guys take care of utilities, or is that on the?
It's on the owners. Owners? Okay, and I have to.
Do you guys pay it?
No.
The city of Coeur d'Alene makes it so that the property owner is in charge and
All of
responsible
that.
for it. And so we just want to make sure that legally that's done properly and that there's no problems going on with it.
And I have to say this because it's happened. We don't pay your mortgage. We don't pay your mortgage. We don't pay your insurance.
Yep.
We don't pay your utilities. Okay.
That's part of the partnership.
It's part of the partnership. That's why you get a significantly larger cut than we do. Because I know, right? That's a February phone call every year. Hey, no. I saw you went to Tahiti for Christmas. That's August. You should have saved your money.
Yep.
Yeah, there is a little bit of a slow season here, but we have ways to fill the gaps and work with you.
Do you have a feel for insurance premiums when it's a short-term rental, how that affects your premium?
I sure do. Yeah. You, Safeco, are there any insurance agents here in town, right here, in here? Insurance agents? Shocking. Yeah, that's kind of weird.
Doesn't Farm Bureau will do it, right?
Safeco's my favorite. Yeah, because they have their personal property is pretty affordable, but they also have a short-term rental rider, where like it's in writing that you know that the insurance company knows, and the insurance company knows that you know that it's a short-term rental. In fact, we just had a claim, short-term rental, water loss, and I just got a phone call today. Oh, I have to fill that out. The adjuster is, all I have to do is send the reservations and the financial amount that the owner lost, and they are paying for all of the lost income on a water loss. And so, there you go.
Yep.
So yeah, insurance companies are great, and they're paying the claims. So I've now walked through an official.
If you choose the right insurance company.
If you choose the right one. This was actually a traveler's policy. But and I know Safeco has done it, and I've worked with Farm Bureau too.
I don't want to take up everybody's time, but I still want to answer questions if people have questions.
If you want to leave, it won't hurt our feelings, because there's our phone numbers and our emails. Yeah.
I might have missed it, but do you guys manage over in the Silver Valley, Kellogg?
Yeah, we do. I want to see the house first, though. I mean, that's fair, right?
Yeah,
guys, come on. That's fair. I have a season pass to Silver. I'm over there all the time.
Yeah, we're not going to take every property.
It's
got to fit right with our book of business.
But we will. I'm going over to Silver Valley at the end of the month. I've got 3 properties to walk through with a couple different owners to, see if we can't build a book of business over there that's a little bit stronger. So, yeah.
Do you believe that maybe you can get more than the average person if they tried to do it on their own just to save the money?
I guarantee it.
I don't believe it. I know it.
Rough idea.
Remember, I'm 27 years old, and so my hair.
Yeah.
You know what?
Professionally managed companies.
Can you sell your house all by yourself?
Yeah.
Where you get the most amount of money?
FSBO, man. Why do you need a realtor?
I mean, it's kind of.
They handed me like 3 pieces of paper I can download from the internet.
This is what we eat and breathe and sweat every single day. And what I mean.
Because I have a management company managing my house out in Massachusetts, and I was doing it myself, and they're definitely bringing in more money.
Yeah.
I'm paying them a pretty penny, but it's good.
Who wants a phone call at 2 o'clock in the morning because they forgot the door code because they're drunk? Anybody here? Looking forward to that? Is that worth your time, effort, and energy? Did you get into this investment game to get those phone calls? I did.
The internet's not working.
Yeah. The internet's not working.
My refrigerator is not cold enough. My ice cubes aren't cold enough.
My ice isn't frozen.
Isn't frozen.
You got that one. You know, girl, you know. My ice isn't frozen.
Exactly.
Did you?
We get it all.
Okay, this is kind of a dumb question. So you put the door code in.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then you heard the lock whirl. Yeah. And the door didn't open. Did you turn the doorknob and push the door? Oh, well, this isn't like my door at home. Thank you.
Okay.
It's an art. It's an art to be able to answer those questions and not.
Why are you calling me to open up a door?
Yeah, so we have a huge call center that does all of that for us. With
we are live 24/7.
Yeah.
There will always be somebody awake who can answer these calls for all of our properties.
My phone I have not turned my phone off in years.
Because we're still the emergency contact.
We're still the emergency contact, and I don't mind. I got a phone call last night at 2:30 in the morning from the United Kingdom because he forgot about time change. And he wanted to make sure that his payment had gone through.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, just a sec, Richard, let me check.
Yep, it's good.
Yep, looks like it posted 2 days ago, friend. Thank you for your call. Looking forward to hosting you.
But that's what we do.
That's what we do.
We're 24/7. We try to take time off at different times so we're not both out of...
Yeah.
We have never been able to do that. This is going to be our first... We're actually going to be able to take a vacation this year.
We have a really great team in place. Super great. So we're pretty excited about that. Yes, sir.
I'm sorry, I missed the first half of this, but what areas do you serve again?
We are open. What area you want to talk about?
Monterey.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
we talk about that.
Bonner County, Shoshone County.
Shoshone, we're open in Shoshone. We have people over in Shoshone. Plus, I'm over there all the time.
All the time.
I'm over in Kellogg all the time.
We're excited about Spokane. We've been waiting
Super
for
excited.
the moratorium to be able to lift.
Yep.
So we can go over there and we can start building out that market too.
So the city is, I will give you guys a little hint, a little nugget. I called the city clerk of the city of Spokane and asked about some short-term rental policies that they have on the books right now that are really strict. So one of the really strict policies that they have right now is that if it is a condo or an apartment building, so we don't have owned apartments here in Coeur d'Alene. That's not something that happens. But over there, they have like owned apartments. And it's weird because you're like, why don't you just call it a condo? But they don't. It's a very different thing. And if it's in the downtown corridor, and there's quite a few condo buildings in the downtown corridor of Spokane, you cannot short-term rental them. Now, there are people that are short-term rentaling them, but they live in the building. So it's a different situation. It's a different thing. So I called the city of Spokane. I was like, hey, I just had a question about your short-term rental policies. I noticed that you can't be downtown, but the South Hill's really popular. And you've got all of these, like the University District, you've got all of these little pockets that are really great. Tell me about what's going on. She goes, oh no, we're getting a lot of pushback right now. Within the next year, that condo policy is gonna change. So anyway, that's from the city clerk of Spokane. Do with it what you will.
Do you plan to be in only the city boundaries of Spokane, or do you plan to work in the county of Spokane as well?
I think we're going to start with the city so we can build that core.
I would go to Long Lake though.
Once we have that, because you like it there.
It's true story.
Once we have that core, then that will allow us to be able to build out.
Yeah,
we want to make sure that we can service that property to the best of its ability.
We want to make sure that we have boots on the ground. I don't want to go into a market blindly and just be like, hope everything's okay. I'm going to call Mary Maids and they're going to clean the house. I want to make sure that I have the right, that's real life. People do that. It's terrifying. I want to make sure that I have a maintenance team that I can call that's in my pocket. I want to make sure that our housekeeping teams know our standards and that they are ready and available to visually QA. I want to make sure that I have a secondary person that's able to come in and come alongside our teams to make sure that everything is up and running.
Yeah.
I know, I'm just saying.
We want to make sure that we're successful so that you can be successful too.
Yeah, we just had an owner.
Again, we're not going to jump into a property or into a market just because we want more properties.
We just had an owner buy on Long Lake, and he and I are working. We work really closely with our owners. Like, we really are business partners with our owners. And he just bought a property on Long Lake, and so he was like, "What do you think I should do?" And I was like, "Here are some ideas. Here's what I think you should do." And I was like, "Before we do anything with this, we have got to find people." So that's like this summer's project. While him and his family are working on it, he's like, "We're going to find people." So that we can start managing up there.
It's not just people, it's the right people.
It's the right people. That's very true.
Yeah.
Yep.
Do I have to be the owner of a house? Say I get it through arbitrage. Do you guys still service it if I have a contract?
We will not do that. It puts us, our company, at a liability if you're not the owner of the property.
Yeah, it does. Yeah. Our attorney won't let us do it. And she's
good.
She's awesome. I love her.
Yeah.
You were saying that Idaho in general is a pro
landlord state.
Landlord state.
Yep.
Airbnb. So why Why Sandpoint? Why did they? Is it something that should be worried for other cities in Idaho that's going to do the same thing and pass?
The wonderful thing about the state of Idaho is that it also allows for each one of the municipalities to be able to govern themselves. So within that municipality, they've decided that that's what they want to do, which is great because we get to govern our people the way we see fit. So
I'm not saying that some of the city commissioners own the hotels, but I'm not saying that either.
Yep.
There's a reason to extinguish competition.
Yeah.
Yep.
And almost all of our city commissioners own short-term rentals. One of them developed 6 right there on Sherman. So I don't see us doing anything or going anywhere. I really don't. So affordable housing, they're really tasking affordable housing with the developers.
So it probably has a lot more to do with who's on the city council versus the will of the people of that town.
Well, and the will of the people.
Until they vote out the city council.
Right, so that's why you got to know, that's why you got to be involved in local politics. I mean, President Schmesident doesn't really affect what's...
Can you spell that?
No.
Schmesident.
C-H.
Yes.
Edent.
Schmesident.
Yeah.
No, you got to be involved in local government. You have to know who your local people are. To put your head in the sand right now, politically, is you're going to shoot yourself in the foot. So, if anything, you know, reach out to your local, you know, representatives. Reach out to your commission people that are in charge of your district and where you live in your little region of the world, and let them know how you're living and how you want to live. It's really important, because I will tell you, working on the committees I've worked on, they actually listen. They really do. They, especially here, they get your emails and they read them, and the clerk reads them, and people are like, did you get that email? Yeah, I got that email. That was a really nice email. Oh, I felt so good about that. Everybody likes a compliment. You know, you're doing a good job letting short-term rentals come here to Coeur d'Alene. Smiley face, heart emoji.
And David and Stacey are really cool people.
So nice.
Yeah. So I don't want to take up everybody's networking.
I said everybody could leave if they wanted to leave. It wasn't going to hurt our feelings. These people want to hang out.
But I want
they probably
to
want to network with each other, though, too.
Okay.
So we will be here. We will hang out. You have our phone numbers. You have our emails. I like
Any last
coffee.
questions? Okay. Thank you for your time, guys.
Yeah.